Hello and welcome to Options in Plain English Advanced Edition. Today we're going to be talking about vertical spreads and how knowing about how they relate to each other can be very beneficial to your options trading. Before we start, let's go take a look at these strategies. We have long call spread, short put spread, a long put spread, and a short call spread. On the top we have debit spreads, and on the bottom we have credit spreads. On the left we have bullish spreads, and on the right we have bearish spreads. So right away we can notice that there is a similarity between long call spread and a short put spread, and also between a long put spread and a short call spread. So what we're going to do in this lesson is we're going to figure out how they are similar, how they are the same, and where they differ, and when we can use one instead of the other, or when should we prefer one over the other even though they might be equivalent. To begin with, we're going to be using a simplified version of put call parity. We're going to exclude dividends and interest rates and cost to carry. The main formula is there. Long stock equals long call and short put. So we can solve for each one of the elements on the option side. So long call is going to be long stock and long put. Long put is going to be short stock and long call. Short call is going to be short stock and short put. And short put is going to be long stock and short call. So we're going to be using these elements to figure out, we're going to dissect all these positions. We're going to start with a long call spread. A long call spread is made up of a long call at strike KL and a short call at strike KS. So right away we have a long call here, which we can replace with long stock, long put right here, and a short call here, which we can replace with short stock and short put right here. Okay, so this position is the same as this position because they're equivalent. So right away what we have is we have being long stock here and being short stock here. So if you think about it, let's say the price is here and you want to short at a higher price, you have to pay the difference between the price and where you want to short the stock. So it's going to be a cost to you, it's going to be a debit to you. And same thing with when you go long. When you go long at a price that's lower than where the price is, you're going to have to pay the difference because you have to account for this difference between where the price is and where you want to buy your stock long. So it's another debit to you, it's another cost to you. So in summary, being long stock at this point and short stock at this point is going to be equal to a debit of an amount of KS minus KL. Okay? Because, and this analysis is going to be the same whether you're in the middle of the strikes or anywhere else. Okay? So if you want to be long stock at this point and short stock at this point, you're going to have to pay the distance between KS and the price, and also the distance between KL and the price, which altogether would be KS minus KL. Now, knowing this, we can see that at this strike price, we have long put, which we have here, and we have a short put, which is here. So we can see that this element is accounted for in the short put spread, but also we need to account for the debit. So in summary, we have that a long call spread is equal to a short put spread plus a debit of an amount equal to KS minus KL. So now we're going to go ahead and do the same thing with the long put spread and the short call spread. So same thing, we have a short put in here, which we're going to replace with long stock and short call. Then we have a long put over here, which we're going to replace with short stock and long call. So this is the same position. We're going to do the same. Long here and short here, where we saw this, is going to result in a debit of this strike price minus this strike price. In this case, the long minus the short, because this one was the short minus the long, but it represents the same position of the strike prices. Okay, so we have this fixed component, and then these two options are going to go into the short call spread, and we just need to account for the debit, and we'll have the formula now. We're going to have a long put spread being the same as a short call spread plus a debit that is equal to the distance between strikes. Now, what does this mean? Well, remember, when you open a long put spread, you open it for a debit, so because you buy it. When you have a short call spread, you open it for a credit. So that's why if you add the debit that you have for the difference in strikes, you're going to have the long put spread now for a debit, but it's in reality it is the same trade. So we're going to look into this in a little bit more detail. So for the bullish positions, the long call spread is equal to the short put spread plus a debit of the distance between strikes. For the short put spread, in this case, is equal to the long call spread plus a credit of the distance between strikes. Okay, so as you can see, one is the same as the other with just a fixed component, which turns one of them from a debit into a credit and vice versa. On the bearish side, we have a long put spread being the same as a short call spread plus a debit of the distance between strikes. And solving for the short call spread is going to be the same as a long put spread plus a credit of the distance between strikes. So if we keep analyzing this and we do an example here, let's do an example for the bullish portion. So if you have a long call spread that you can say, for example, the price is here and you have this spread that you want to put on, and it's going to be $10 wide, okay? 10, so this is going to be the distance, $10. And you open a long call spread and you pay $4 for it, so -4 because you have to pay for that. You go from -4 being equal to, now if you open a short put spread for the same position, let's say the price was in the same place here, okay? So under or below both options, then what you're going to have is you're going to have a short put spread that's put on for a credit of $6 plus the debit of the distance between strikes. So it would be -10. So -4 equals the credit plus the difference in strikes. In this case, let's do the other example. We put on a short put spread that's trading for $8. So let's say we put it on here. Okay, a short put spread. Let's say we put it on here. Okay, at this point, it's going to be trading for $8. Okay, and is going to be that's going to be the same as buying a long call spread for $2. Because the formula tells you that the distance between strikes is going to be the only difference. So summarizing these two examples, a long call spread that you buy for $4 that can go to 10 is the same as having a short put spread that you got $6 for, where your max profit is the $6 that you got. So the best case scenario for a short position, for a credit position, is that it expires worthless. So you get to keep the whole credit. The best case scenario for a long position is that it expands to its maximum value. Now, if we do the example for the long put spread, okay, for the bearish side, you can see now we're going to make it 5 wide, so just to make it different. A long put spread, let's say, for example, you are buying a put spread that's trading for $1. Okay, so that means that it's completely out of the money, so you'd be over here. So this put spread that is worth $1, you pay for it, so it's a credit, it's a debit to you, is going to be the same as a short call spread where you get $4 for it as a credit, plus a debit of KL minus KS, the distance between strikes. So you would have -5. So -1 equals +4 minus 5. So what does this mean? It means that if you have the price here and you want to buy the put spread from PL to PS, you're going to have to pay $1 for it, and it can expand to 5. Okay? If you want to do the other side, but in the way of an equivalent position, then what you would do is you would short a call spread. So you would sell that call spread, and you're going to be getting $4 for it. Okay? But if it stays the same, this is going to expire at a value of 5, because the call spread over here is going to expand because you're short. The call spread is going to expand to a value of 5, so you're going to be losing 1. Okay, so it's a little bit confusing, but with experience, this is going to become very automatic, an automatic way of thinking about vertical spreads. Okay, second example, you have a long put spread that you can buy for 2, or a short call spread where you can initiate it for a credit of 3. Okay, the formula says that between these two, the difference is the credit of KL minus KS, so the distance between strikes. So what this means is that buying something for 2 that can go to 5, so in this case, selling something and getting 2 is the same as buying something, which is a long put spread, for 3. So buying something for 3 that can go to 5 is the same as selling something for 2 that could go to 0. You see, this, when you're short something, you want it to go to 0. When you're long something, you want it to expand to max value. Since we're doing the opposite transactions, then it is the exact same position. So, in other words, being long this put spread is the same as being short this call spread. But this one we open for a debit, and we hope it expands to max value. And this one we open for a credit, and we hope it goes to 0. So if you're here and you sell this call spread and nothing happens, the price stays there, you're going to lose because this is going to expand to max value. But since you're short it, what you want is you want the price to end up lower than both options. So you want the price to go over here, which is the same as a long put spread. So bottom line is a long call spread and a short put spread are the same. The long put spread and the short call spread are the same, but one is initiated for a credit and you want it to expire worthless, and one is put on for a debit and you want it to expand to max value, but they're the same positions. Now, just to do a visual exercise, which could, or maybe not, but it helps me, it could help you understand more or less how one spread moves in comparison to other spreads. We're going to have here a visual representation. You have here low strike prices. So I'm gonna make here a little table and a little graph where you're gonna have the strike prices laid out in a similar way to how they're laid out in our trading platform. So low strike prices are gonna be on the top, high strike prices are gonna be on the bottom, and let's assume that the current stock price is right here in the middle. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're going to have these two rectangles, the blue one and the red one. The red one represents the value of a put spread, and the blue one represents the value of a call spread. And that's the width of the strikes. So this is the width of the spread. Okay, so as you can see, this whole rectangle, taking into account both spreads is always going to be the same. So whatever one spread makes, the other one loses. So for example, we're going to analyze now and at expiration. Remember, this is the current stock price, and these are different strike prices, okay, where we can put on call spreads and put spreads. So if we start going like this, we can see that if you have a current stock price and you want to buy, or you want to see what the call spread is trading at right now, well, if you go to a lower strike price, then those are going to be in the money. So the call spread is going to be bigger than the put spread, because the put spread is completely out of the money, being at strike prices that are below where the stock price is. And if we keep analyzing, you can see that whatever amount you have in the call spread, the remaining value for the whole width of the spread is going to be attributed to the put spread. So if we analyze these prices that are very low, the call spread for those strike prices are going to be very high, a very high proportion of the whole value of the spread, which is the width of the spread. And the put spread, because it's deep out of the money, it's going to have a very small value. So let's say, for example, this width of the spread was 5. Then if the stock price is trading here and we're putting on a call spread that's deep in the money, then it's not going to be trading at 5, but it's going to be trading very close to 5. So it's going to be trading maybe at 4.50 or 4.20, and the put spread is going to be trading at, let's say, 80 cents. Now, the same thing happens on the way to higher strike prices. Remember, we're keeping the stock price constant right here in the middle, okay? So if we start going to higher and higher strike prices, now the put spread is going to be the one that's fully in the money, and it's going to have a higher percentage of the value of the width of the spread, okay? And the deeper in the money you are with your put spread, the closer it's going to get to the full value of the spread, okay? So if you have, again, a spread that's $5 wide, then maybe at this strike price, it's going to be the put spread is going to be trading at 4.30, for example, and the call spread is going to be trading at 70 cents. Remember, one is the complement of the other on the way to the full width of the spread. Okay, so it's important that you see here, what I want to represent here is that whatever you gain in one type of spread, so a call spread or a put spread, the other one loses, and the full value, being the addition of both, is the same all the time. So whatever you make in the call spread, you lose in the put spread. Okay. Now, what's going to happen at expiration? Well, at expiration, let's say, for example, we have the stock price right here, and we put on a position. I don't know what we're going to put on, but let's assume that some position is put on, and the price doesn't move, and everything goes to expiration at this price. What's going to happen to these spreads? Well, those spreads are going to be the ones that are in the money for calls. So the one with low strike prices are going to expire at full max value. The ones that are with strike prices higher than the current stock price are going to expire with no value for the call spread and the full value for the put spread. The put spread is going to expire fully in the money. The call spread is going to expire here with these strike prices fully in the money, and the other side is going to expire fully out of the money. Okay, so that means it's going to expire worthless. So a put spread that's initiated at a strike price that's lower than the current stock price, if the stock price doesn't move, with time is going to dwindle down to 0. Okay, so this is important to understand. Now, if the stock price is in between, so what we call an at the money stock price, it means that it's going to be between one strike price and the other, not necessarily at any of the strike prices, but in between both, because we're talking about a spread. Then the value of the call spread and the value of the put spread is going to depend on where in the range this is. So if the price expires barely higher than the low strike price, then the call spread is going to have a value that's very low, and the put spread is going to expire at a very high value. So this is going to be fluctuating here depending on whether the price expired closer to the low strike price or to the high strike price. But this is not going to be an all or nothing proposition here. These ones will be. The ones that are not at the money are going to be all or nothing. The call spread in this case is going to be max value, and the put spreads over here are going to be max value, and the opposite are going to be 0. The put spreads here are going to be 0, and the call spreads here are going to be 0. So you can see now that knowing this, let's say, for example, you think that the price is going to stay the same, okay? So you want to make money knowing this. So there's two things you can do. You can go to low strike prices and you can either sell this put spread and then let it expire worthless, or you can buy the call spread and let it expand to max value. It's the same thing. This is what we're doing, basically, explaining how the long call spread relates to the short put spread and the long put spread relates to the short call spread. Same here. If you think that the price is going to stay the same, then you could either sell the call spread here and then let it go to 0, or you can buy the put spread and let it expand to max value. Okay? Same thing here. Remember, now, if we assume or we think that the price is going to move as well, so if we think the price is going to go down, okay, so this is going to be moving up in here, then more of these are going to be red, more of these are going to be put spreads. Okay, so if you think that the price is going to go down, what you want to do is you want to sell a call spread or buy a put spread. Okay, same if you think that the price is going to be going up. If that's the case, what you want to do is you want to either buy a call spread. See this price moving over here, meaning that everything over here is going to be expiring in the money for calls and out of the money for puts. So you can buy a call spread and let it expand to max value, or you can sell a put spread and let it expire worthless, which is what you want. Now, how to determine when to use each one of these spreads? Well, the main reason why it's important for you to know that these trades or these spreads are equivalent is because you want to you can work around some of the obstacles that you might encounter when you are trading options, one of which is liquidity. When you have in the money options, usually the liquidity is not the greatest. Liquidity for out of the money options is much better than liquidity for in the money options. So that's why usually what you would do is if it's the same to you and you're going to be using those strikes and you know that you're going to be bearish or bullish on something, then what you do is you go with the options that are out of the money rather than the options that are in the money. So in this case, for example, if I was bullish, okay, or if I was bullish to neutral, so I think that the price is either going to stay here or it's going to go higher, then what I would do is rather than buying the call spread and letting it go to expiration at max value, instead of doing that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to sell the put spread and then let it expire worthless. You don't need to close this one. It's one less transaction fee. And also the liquidity is going to be better on short put spread, on a short put spread, on short puts in general, than it will be in the money calls. So in the money calls are going to be less liquid than out of the money puts. Same if I want to go on a bearish trade, then instead of buying a put spread and letting it expire and expand to max value, instead of doing that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to sell the call spread and let it go to zero, and maybe I don't even need to close it. That's how you would use this information. But always keep in the back of your mind that if you're using the same strikes, a long call spread and a short put spread are the same, and a long put spread and a short call spread are exactly the same. There's many traders that I interact with who think that inherently using debit spreads are better than using credit spreads. In reality, that's not the case. They are equivalent. If you use the same strike prices and you go from put to calls, they are the same. So it's important to understand this so that you know that in case you need to use the other side of a trade, you know how to put it on. So it's important to understand that debit spreads and credit spreads are pretty much the same, and that calls and puts inherently are not bullish or bearish. It's how you use them, how you combine them, that can make your strategy into a debit strategy that's bearish, or a debit strategy that's bullish, or a credit strategy that's bearish, or a credit strategy that's bullish. Once you understand this, it's going to give you an additional tool. For example, let's say you let's work with a real example. Let's say you are bullish. So what you're going to do is you're going to, for example, here you could either sell a put spread over here. But what if you're really bullish? You want to make more money than you put in. Then what you would do is you would go to a higher strike price and buy the call spread. Because if the current stock price gets to this point and goes past it, at expiration, this is going to be fully blue. You're going to be making the difference between what you paid for and what you have here as max value. So you would buy the call spread. So what if the stock price actually goes really high and you want to sell, but because the price makes your options that started out as out of the money, now they're in the money and the liquidity is very poor, what are you going to do now? You can't, if you want to sell, you're going to be eating a loss because of the bid-ask spread. Not necessarily a loss in your trade, but you're going to be receiving less money than you would have if you had perfect liquidity. So one of the things you can do here, knowing that selling this call spread, which is what you want to do because now it expanded, is the same as buying a put spread, and this put spread is going to be more liquid because now this put spread is going to be out of the money. Because of this, what will happen is that once you have you bought this call spread, now the price shot past your price. Now instead of selling the call spread and closing your position, you can buy the equivalent put spread, and now you've locked a profit because this put spread is going to be moving contrary to what the call spread does. So you're going to be locking in your profits and with much better liquidity once they expire. So this put spread, if the price stays over here, it's going to expire worthless, but in the meantime you were protected, because if it had gone down, then this would have expanded, and now your call spread is going to be maxed out, so it's going to have full value, and at expiration you can just exercise and get assigned, and you're going to realize a profit equal to the distance between strike prices. I know that this is a little bit confusing, but once you get acquainted with how to trade these spreads, you're going to see that it's going to become second nature as you start trading these spreads a little bit more. Now let's go to the trading platform and see how we can find real examples of this where we can apply this information that we just got. So now we're going to come to the market and we're going to be taking a look at QQQ, which is the ETF for the NASDAQ 100. I'm going to be going to the June 2020 expiration, 29 days to go. Okay, and what I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to be using all the information that we just got, all the knowledge about debit and credit spreads and about vertical spreads in particular. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be going here and I'm going to be comparing, first of all, a long call spread to a short put spread. So I'm going to be, in this case, buying the 223 call and selling the 226 call. Okay, and I'm going to be putting this aside for a while. And I'm going to be doing the same trade, which is going to be now on the put side. I'm going to be doing the 226, selling the 226, 223 short put spread. Okay. Now I'm going to do the bearish trades. So I'm going to start by buying the put spread, and I'm going to be making it now $6 wide instead of $3, so that we can easily identify which one is which. So we're going to be buying the 236 put and selling the 230 put. Okay, and then I'm going to send it to the Analyze tab, and I'm going to be doing the same thing, but I'm going to be doing this with calls. So I'm going to be selling the 230 call and buying the 236 call. So I'm going to be selling a call spread. Okay. I'm going to open the pricing so that the prices are being taken from the actual market. Okay, so let's quickly analyze these. Okay, the first two are going to be our bullish trades. Long the 223, 226 call spread and short the 226, 223 put spread. So the first one, okay, in the first one, we can make $96 and we're risking $204. We compare it to the other one, to the other bullish trade, we can make $97 and we can lose 202 or 203. So it's pretty much the same trade. Okay, so a long call spread, I pay 203 and it can go to 3. So I can make 99, 98, 97 cents. And the short put spread, I get 98 cents. And I can keep those if it goes higher or stays the same. And I'm risking it going below 226 and 223. So I'm risking $3, which is the width of the spread minus what I got in credit. So these two are the same trade, long call spread, short put spread. Now, if we take a look at the bearish trades, here I'm buying a put spread. Okay, and I can make $294 and I can lose 306. That's with the long put spread. Now with the short call spread, I'm risking $307 and I can make $294. So this is the exact same trade as the long put spread. So long put spread and short call spread are the same trade. And long call spread and short put spread are the same trade. Okay, see, long call spread, look at the amount, it's 100. Actually, let's fix the scale so it doesn't change. Okay, this is the long call spread, this is the short put spread. Long call, short put, same trade. Now let's make a float. And now let's fix it here. Long put spread, short call spread. Long put spread, short call spread. The same trade. So now you know that these trades are the same. Long call, short put. Long put, short call are the same. How can you use this information? Well, in general, what you would do is you would use the one that's the most advantageous to you. And in most cases, what that means is that you're going to go where the liquidity is. Also, if there's any other type of restriction that you have to circumvent, then you could also replace one of these trades with the other. They're exactly the same trade. They take the same money from you when you are in order to carry the position. So in terms of buying power reduction, they're exactly the same. The max profit is the same. The max loss is the same. They are exactly the same. So next time you hear someone saying, oh, okay, credit spreads are better than debit spreads. Well, it depends. It depends which credit spread. It depends which debit spreads. In fact, if you use the same strikes, a long call spread is the same as a short put spread. And also, a long put spread is the same as a short call spread. Now that you have this knowledge, you're going to have more tools in order to make the trades that you want at prices that are advantageous to you at all times. And this is the beauty of having a solid understanding of put call parity, applying it to this, and knowing now that vertical spreads are debit and credit spreads, and you can use a debit version for bull as a bull or bear, and also a credit version as a bull or bear, and they're interchangeable. I hope this information is useful for you guys, that you can put it in action and that you can use it to improve your option trading. Thank you very much and goodbye.